In this video, I will show you how to open the lid lock assembly. There are plenty of other videos about how to replace the lid lock assembly. The reason I am doing this, I discovered that the spring mechanism popped off inside of the assembly, thus the assembly was not capable of locking. When retrieving the fault codes from the washer, there are other videos about finding fault codes. The fault lid lock and lid monitor shows up. Here you go. The first number 1 and 2 up here. Yeah. I did diagnostic tests while being on service mode, specifically lid switch test, and it did pass. It detected that the lid was open or closed. I also did the drain pump test and it passed. I did water valve test and it passed. I did agitation test and it passed. The only test that did not pass was the spin test. I know from all that the motor works, the drain pump works, the valves work, the control board works since it was giving me back feedback on fault codes, etc. This one is a GE washer top load. The problem I was having was it was having trouble from moving the cycle from wash to spin. In this type of GE washer, the lid lock assembly is actually a combination of lid switch and lid lock. The lid switch mechanism detects if the lid is open or closed. As searching in YouTube, my observation is as follows. First, there is a lot of lid switch problems that is the cause of this situation, and most people recommend to replace the lid lock assembly. Secondly, this happens a lot. A number of audience experience this many times, concluding in frustration that the GE washers are garbage. Some comments say they have to replace this 2 or 3 times in the life of the washer before they dispose of this washer. There are few videos to show you what is inside of the lid lock. Let me show you how to open up the lid lock. Just take a note on how it's supposed to be, okay? Because this spring was not where it was supposed to be. Right now it's where it's supposed to be. So just take a note on that, on how it's supposed to be. Now I'm gonna pull this off. What happened was, should I get a tweezer? Okay, that spring was not where it was. So if that spring is not there, this lock is not happening. So I had to look at I don't know if you could see the spring has the holes on the end of it to hook up somewhere. So there's a notch right here that hooks up on one side, and then there is a wire that sticks out from here, and that is the other side. I'm gonna take this off to show you how it goes. Another part that was happening here, if I pull this a little bit, there you go. Tilt it a little bit. Okay. This has to be in this slot right here. Okay? Because that goes inside the coil. Okay. Let's move to the table and I'll show you what goes over here. First time I opened up that lid switch lock, I found that the spring was not where it's supposed to be. Okay. Another thing that I found was this wire here also was loose. It's not, I think it's a wire. I don't know what it's called, but it looks like this. Okay. All right. This and this was not where it's supposed to be, and I had to figure out where it actually goes. Now, if you look around, let me just put this over here. If you flip this around, there is this notch right here, and then there's a hole right here. So what I'm gonna do is, this side is long, let's see, this side is longer than this side. So the longer side, I'm gonna stick it in that hole right here from the other side. Stick it there. And then there's that notch right there. You know what, let me use this so you can see better. I'm gonna put it underneath it. There you go. You see that? I put it underneath into that slot right there. Okay. Okay. So when I turn it around, there is a little bit of that wire sticking up over there. That is where the spring has to hook up to. Okay, so that's all. I just wanted to tell you that part. And this, you're gonna put it right there. And this has to go inside the coil. Okay, so that's how it looks. And this is the other part that I was telling you about. And I already put one side of the spring there, okay? Hooking up to that wire, to that little pokey wire thingy. So I'm gonna go like this and make sure that that goes inside the coil. And then this side here goes inside that hole right there, because it's gonna slide in. Oh, see? Okay. You see that? Now I'm gonna try to hook up the spring like what I told you. One side goes on that. And the other side is gonna hook up on, there you go. You see, that is hooked up on there, and that is hooked up on that white notch right there. And so now the spring is where it's supposed to be. And then this will slide this way. And when it slides this way, you see how it's locking? It's covering this opening. And then when that's open. And then that closes. And that. What happened with my problem was that spring was not what it got undid. Was dislodged. It wasn't there. So be very careful. The cords are on that. And then you clip. If you make sure all the tabs are clicking, then you are done right there. Now it's together. Okay. Now I'm gonna put it back under here. I think it's this side first, and then that side. Clicks. All right, and then I'll put the cover on. Okay, that's it. So now it's back on.